What's up guys, it's your favorite Dutch Bros drinking saltine cracker baddie, and today I have a video for you, and this one's gonna be how to be easy to talk to. This video was inspired by a conversation I was having with a now friend of mine. He and I were on FaceTime like 2 days ago, and one of the lines he said to me like during this conversation was so easy to talk to. And I could have like just brushed past that comment, like if it was the only time I'd ever heard it. But recently, like within the past year of me trying to focus on bettering my social life and things of that nature, I've been hearing different variations of that comment as well. And it really got me thinking, what if everybody else could hear this? Because it is such a valuable skill and it's helped me create so many new friendships. And if only somebody like were to have that, if they didn't have that skill in the first place, what that would do for their life. I remember the days where I especially found it so hard to have conversations with people because it felt like everybody that like I ever talked to just felt like so dry. Like all my conversations were dry. It felt like I really wasn't like getting people to open up. It felt like every time like people would be around me that they really were like closed off to who I was as a human being, like closed off to, you know, the interest in myself as a human being especially. And them not feeling like they wanted to be around me in the sense of themselves, like fully, like them being fully open, them being the person that they actually were in front of their friends, you know, they're laughing and stuff, and then they would come to me and then they'd just be like, it was really easy to say to myself, you know, what's wrong with me? You know, why can't people be open with me? Like, is there something about like my energy? Like how I am as a human being that just turns people off so bad. And it really was a root of insecurity for me for so many years until I realized, like when I started trying to like improve, that it wasn't necessarily me as a person, but it was like how I was approaching conversation. That a lot of people do not realize that they're approaching conversation with if they themselves are not conventionally easy to talk to. But today, in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can become easier to talk to so that when you do approach somebody that you like maybe want to be friends with, that you can really be somebody that they would open up to, and somebody that they that they would like to see again, somebody that they want to genuinely like hang out with and get to know you, especially like, you know, have it be like a mutual friendship. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing I'm gonna say to you is that your personality and your looks are not the issue. A lot of people, you know, when they think about somebody who's like easy to talk to, somebody who's very easy to like get along with and has a lot of like influence around other people, that they have to be like conventionally attractive and they have to, you know, look a certain way, they have to dress a certain way, they have to be part of the different cliques if they have them. And high schoolers don't really have like too much cliques, not like Disney Channel level ones, you know, maybe some like sub ones, especially if the school is large. My last school wasn't too into the cliques, or at least at the level my last high school was, because I went to two, and my last high school was very heavily based on cliques especially, and then that was how everybody were to get around because that was the case. Does the clique that the person's in matter? Do looks matter? Do other, like how you dress, you know, how you present yourself matter, you know, how you talk, how you walk, how you do any of that. Those things can matter, right? But those are not the driving factor into how you are with being in a conversation about the other person. And I'll tell you why. It's not about being the most interesting person in the room. It's about making the other person feel like they are the most interesting person in the room. Because when you're talking to another human being, they're more concerned with how they feel when they talk to you. It's not about like, who are you, who is your status. It's more about how do you make me feel in terms of that. How do you make me feel when I tell you this? How do you make me feel when I tell you that? How do you make me feel when I speak to you about something that interests me as a person? Whether you're in a conversation, a big group conversation, or you're on FaceTime, or you're on like whatever, like whichever place where you want to form a connection with somebody, you need to create an environment where the person is free to talk about themselves, okay? They need to be able to talk about themselves in the full capacity it takes for them to feel validated. And it's not only this, okay? A lot of people, you know, they hear that and then they just make the other person talk about themselves while they do this. And no, I'm not talking about rest in bitch face, because I deadass be staring at people like that. But there is a difference between hearing something and listening to something, okay? When you're making somebody feel heard, right? They're talking about something and then they feel as if you're hearing that and you're just going like this. Like, information is being said and nothing really happens of it, okay? You just heard the thing that person says without interrupting them or none of that. But when you make somebody feel listened to, they're talking, and then you yourself are conceptualizing it. You're conceptualizing it, you're thinking about how that person must feel in this situation, you're thinking about how you must have felt in this situation if you were to go through something like that, or just any of that. Like, you're actively conceptualizing how they're talking about it. You're actively conceptualizing what they're saying, the diction that they're using, especially when they say that, and just overall thinking about what they're saying. Because the other part of this is that you need to react to the information. You need to react in a way that says, yes, I am listening to what you're saying and I'm immersed into what you're saying, and I am actively having a response to it as another human being. Like, for example, let's just say that while somebody was writing something in class, they somehow got a paper cut, and then instead of you just being like, oh my god, are you okay? And then them saying, yeah, I'm fine, and then just going on with, like, the other parts of the conversation or whatever, instead of doing that, maybe you'd be like, damn, bro got too passionate writing that period. And then them being like, no, I was actually writing the word thorough. And then it's a fun conversation where you're going back and forth with like what they were writing when they somehow got that paper cut. And it's a very odd example, but it shows that you do need to have some sort of playfulness in the conversation, because that's the other part of it. People want to feel like they're, when it's not like a serious topic, like you're not going to be easily offended. You know, people don't like talking to other people that are easily offended, because if they feel as if they say the wrong thing, that it's going to become this like big extravagant thing, and it's going to become like very inconvenient for them to have that conversation with you. So then when they feel that you are going to be offended, they close off. They close off and they believe that, okay, you know, I'm just going to have this conversation with this person and I need to be careful, I need to be this. And it puts up like a guard. It puts up like a huge wall between you and who that person actually is. And I'm not saying you have to tolerate like massive amounts of disrespect. Obviously, if they're being like actually disrespectful to you, I encourage you to leave that conversation and not come back to it. But when they're obviously joking about stuff and there's like some playfulness to their own personality as an individual, you need to be playing towards that. And especially if they're saying something like a certain phrase like over and over again, or like a certain situation they keep bringing up, bring it up for them. You know, take the time to really get them to elaborate on it, because it shows like a great sign of that's what they want to talk about. Okay, there's a reason why people are not constantly talking about school subjects unless they're, you know, newly acquainted, because most people don't like school. People like talking about sports, people like talking about gaming, people like talking about their family, and so on. Oh my god. Okay guys, I was trying to do this. I was trying to do this right here. Anyways, people like talking about those things, and when they talk about those things, when they're presenting their opinion on those things through whatever form, right? You need to be agreeable with it, and that does not mean you have to agree with everything that they say. Okay, it just means that you are not going to be like harsh and judgmental towards that opinion. You can't like shoot that down or like try to like educate them on like a certain way of thinking. When you try to do that, especially even though you think everything else about them is great, they don't particularly feel like they're having a conversation. They feel like they're giving a lecture through somebody, and then but that's not what fun conversation is about. And you don't have to agree with everything that they say, right? But when you do like disagree with somebody or whatever, just be like very respectful towards that opinion. Be like, hey, you know, I see your side of things, but I actually think da 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 da. Or you could be like funny about it if the person's up for it and be like, actually I disagree because personally, and then da 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 da. And then they'll be like, actually, and then, you know, you guys keep going on and on. Again, the playfulness, if that humor is there and they're accepting of that humor. Because you also need to read the energy of the person. What is this person like? What is their personality? Because a lot of, you know, funny kind of personality types, like, I see a lot of guys have this personality type, especially where they have that, then I would try to be more funny with them. Because I am a very logical person, I tend to be like a little bit more serious about things. I don't tend to like joke around a lot. That's just not something I typically do. But because I am somebody who wants to be open, okay, the big part of being agreeable is somebody who actually like wants to be open, then I would adjust that a little bit. And when I have like adjusted it, you know, over time, I did eventually like more so appeal to those type of people when I am talking to guys with like the funny personality type, or like girls with that sort of type as well. But then when I'm with somebody who is maybe like they have a little bit more set opinions, a lot of religious people, I see this with a lot more, I see this with a lot more girls actually, where they're a little bit more closed off, and they're maybe not with more like a joking approach, but rather, you know, they value, you know, deepness. They value having those conversations where it's like, yes, I understand how you feel. This is how I think on it as somebody else, as another human being. That they value more of those type of conversations, and you just kind of have to gauge when somebody is like that specifically. And it's not about adjusting that personality to every certain person, it's about adjusting how you present that personality to other people. You know, how am I going to present my personality in a way that is very, you know, good with their morals and their beliefs, so that they may feel open to talk to me about it and feel that they are not being judged or anything like that. But then if the other person's being disrespectful towards you and not willing to do that, then you don't want to be with that person anyways, okay? You know, being friends with everybody is actually a very bad idea, because, you know, a lot of people are not very agreeable, as to how a lot of people are actually very agreeable. It just depends on the person. And that is my take on how to be more easy to talk to. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, thank you for all the views that I've been getting. I've been trying to present my personality in a way that's a little bit more, you know, open to you guys especially, so I've been like very serious on camera, I've been very nutty on camera. So just trying to like gauge that a little bit, and you guys have been very understanding of that. So I hope you have a good morning, day, or night, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.